Now, we have a special guest joining us today. This is Dr. Dan Stickler, and you're involved with a company called Neurohacker Collective. Is that correct? Qualia. Can you tell us a bit about what Qualia is and what it does for the athlete?
Yeah, Qualia is really an overall brain enhancement type of supplementation. And the mix, there's 42 different ingredients in it, and it's designed around bringing the brain into more of a homeostatic state and enhancing performance. So a lot of athletic performance comes down to mental toughness. It comes down to drive. It comes down to resiliency. And what we're finding with the Qualia is that we're hearing subjectively that people are having great improvements in that area. And I've actually done some work in my medical practice. I work with human performance optimization in my medical practice. And we've done some studies on this in a preliminary sense, and we're seeing huge improvements in stress responses. We're seeing improvements in brainwave patterning and just overall cognitive function.
So why is this a great thing for a Spartan athlete to add to their diet?
Well, one of the things, the great thing about it is it's not something that's illegal as far as performance enhancement. You know, and I'm not against performance enhancement. I think we're in a state right now where, you know, even taking protein powders and things like that, I mean, that's performance enhancement in my opinion. But this allows the brain to step up to that next level. And the brain is such a driver of resiliency. It's such a driver of motivation. And having the brain in that state actually helps with the stress response. It helps with the sympathetic, parasympathetic balance, all of that stuff that makes for a better athletic performance.
And so is this something that you would supplement with every day, or is it just, was it for races? I mean, how would it make somebody feel different, or is it very mild?
Yeah, and that's what I recommend, that people at least just try it.
Right.
Because what we see is even within 4 hours of the first dose, there's a noticeable effect. Mm-hmm. And we've seen it on QEEG brain mapping. We've seen it in stress response. We've seen it in cognitive function. And people report subjectively improved athletic performance. I mean, we don't have actual studies on that quite yet, but they are coming.
Any advice? Is this something that should be taken morning, midday, nighttime before athletic performance? Does it matter?
Well, it's certainly something you want to take morning, because there's a lot of different pieces of it that are designed around upregulating cognitive function, and so it could interfere with sleep if you took it later in the day. And we like to kind of cycle it, so it's a 5-day on, 2-day off process, and it seems to work best in that regard, to give the brain a little time to recover back to a baseline.
When we talk about body hacking, people use the term nootropics all the time. Is that essentially what this is?
Right. I mean, it depends on your definition of nootropics. So some people will look at even prescription medications as nootropics. Herbals are nootropics. I mean, even creatine is considered a nootropic because it alters brain function in some positive way.
Cool. And so looking at this is the item that is right here. We've got a beautiful box. Take a peek at the camera there. And so there's 2 different products in here, or is this one? Just 2 items? Because it's these 2 different sizes. There's step 1 and step 2.
Yeah,
how does that work?
You know, it's an amazing process by which we went about developing this product, because what we found is that when we spread this out, you're actually building up the precursor type stuff to launch into the next phase. So taking it as a 2-step process, it's a systems-based approach to cognitive function, because you look at it and a lot of people will take things and say, oh, I want better focus or I want better concentration. So they'll take one item to do that, but what they neglect is the fact that they need more blood flow to the brain. They need more precursors in order to maintain that continued output of positive cognitive function.
Great. And so is this applicable outside of just the athletic world and more into just like improving your efficiency, productivity at work and life? Because we talk about improving ourselves. The things that we do here are not just for Spartan, it's for life as well.
Right, and that's what we're finding, is that this works across the board. I work with a bunch of executives, entrepreneurs, athletes, and they all report a very positive lifestyle improvement with it in some way, whether it's improved productivity, whether it's improved focus, whether it's improved memory, whatever it is, I'm seeing huge improvements across the board in everybody who has tried it. And so I say, try it one time, because once you try it, you'll actually experience it for yourself, the difference.
Is there anybody who should not be taking these? I mean, is there any interactions just for people, precautions? Is it something that, could be potentially harmful or dangerous for certain people, or that you should be aware of?
Well, anything you're going to take for cognitive enhancement, you need to probably talk to your doctor if you're on any medications, especially psychiatric medications. Those are things that you really want to be cautious with. So I always recommend you talk to your physician before starting a supplement if you're already on medications.
And now, what exactly? I haven't seen the ingredient list in there, but so what are some of the ingredients or some of the things that are really working on on that sensory and on that cognitive enhancement?
Well, there's different categories of nootropics in there. So we have nootropics that work with cholinergic system. So the cholinergic system is really the baseline that you want to build off of for activating the brain. Then we have things that are adaptogens. So they work with the HPA axis and the stress response to help mitigate that. Then we have precursor for the neurotransmitters. We have pieces in there that improve blood flow to the brain. And so the whole idea is to really boost the brain up to a balanced state where you don't have an overproduction in one area, underproduction in another. And it allows you to access the brain just on the spot. What do you want to do? Now you've got the ability to access it.
Interesting.
Great. This is a really neat product for a lot of people at home that are saying, how do I find time in my life both to work, enjoy my family and social time, and also train to be a Spartan athlete, because we know how much of a time commitment this is. I'm one of those people.
It can be very, very tough. Me too.
And so I'm actually very excited to try this out.
Yeah, me too.
And we're excited to learn more about it. And thank you so much for joining us and telling us about it. And that's Dr. Dan Stickler.
Well, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you coming on. Thank you. We got 23 teams through, guys. 4 teams remaining. We're going to learn more about them and how these elites train, and maybe they're going to need some Neurohacker Collective items. We're going to talk about that stuff next.